Hello, this is your host Akhil Navluri, and welcome to the brand new episode of the Tech Podcast series. In this podcast episode, I'm super thrilled and honored to welcome our eminent and prominent industry leader and our guest, Mrs. Justine Wolters, who happens to be the data security consultant and has a little bit of touch with respect to the project management side as well. And she is even the co-owner of her initiative, Tech Speakers, and it gives me an absolute pleasure to welcome her to this podcast initiative of mine. So, Justine, it really is an absolute honor to have you here. And so, Justine, how are you doing? And how are things going on with your podcast initiative, the Tech Speakers? I'm seeing a lot of things on LinkedIn about it. So, how's it going
Yeah,
on?
well, thank you first of all for having me. It's a great pleasure to be in your podcast. Well, everything is well over here. I'm in the Netherlands. The weather is still good, although the autumn has started. I'm very happy with that.
Okay.
um, yeah, and always busy with so many initiatives. So indeed, I'm a data security consultant. I have my own business, Tech Speakers, doing quite some events because it's event season, right? After the summer break, every
Yeah.
event starts again. We did quite some of that, and yeah, it's busy, but it's so much fun.
That's brilliant. That's good to know. So I think listeners, you just have got an idea about what Justine's initiative is. Now, as we dig deeper into this podcast session, we are going to give you a complete glimpse of what exactly her podcast initiative is and how did she start with that. So, at the stroke of this hour, which is 9 p.m. Melbourne time, let's kick off with the podcast session. All right. All right, Justine. So Justine, I'm pretty keen to understand this. Like, if you would like to, narrate or let's say talk about your timeline of your journey in the IT industry, how would you start that?
Oh, wow. So I guess it started way back. When I go back to like my university, then I didn't do an IT study. I studied communication science at first as a bachelor's degree. And from that, I went to a master's degree in management science. It wasn't like fully focused on IT, computer science, or whatsoever. So it's more a coincidence that I went into this sector, right? And I do think
Hmm.
that's the case that happens with many people. So for
Absolutely.
me, after my
Yeah.
studies, I went straight into IT. I got a job offer, and I was really interested already in data. How does it work? I didn't have a clue about it. So when I got this job offer, it felt like,
Yeah.
okay, well, so this is really interesting. I already had in mind it will only become more important in the future. So of course, already many companies work with a lot of data, etc. So I really felt like this is something I need to learn to make sure that eventually I can also understand. So this company where I started was in the banking sector. And
Okay.
well, my family and friends were really surprised because before that I was more
Okay.
into sustainability
Oh,
and also mobility. So solar cars. Well, maybe we can go into that later. But so it was quite a surprise for people around me that I went to this banking sector, but it was because the opportunity to learn more about okay IT, data, etc. So I've learned a lot. I was at the back office from this banking in the team. I did a lot of incident management, testing. Yeah, so I really took some time to understand the application we were working with, doing some table maintenance, so many aspects of how you work with data and databases, etc.
yep.
But eventually I found out, okay, the financial sector, yeah, maybe my friends and family are right. This isn't the sector for me. So I went to another company, and over there I went more into an operational leadership kind of position that also had to do more with mobility and also with rail maintenance, so from the trains. Also more sustainable, right? Going by train instead of going by car. So
Yeah.
there was more a match. Yeah, and so I took a step out of IT. And yeah, now I'm back in again. So after some years into this operational position, I felt like, okay, I want to go and take another a step. Started businesses, tech speakers, and also yeah, there was another business where I helped online entrepreneurs with automation. So connecting their payment system with their email marketing system. So I've learned it myself. And I really loved it also to work with the entrepreneurs. I love the entrepreneurial mindset.
Yeah.
And when I was an entrepreneur myself, you decide yourself, okay, where do I want to spend my time, right? So
Yep.
then this cybersecurity program, especially for women, came up. And I felt like, okay, I make the decision if I want to spend time on this. And cybersecurity was always a bit like, okay, it's interesting, but it's also overwhelming because I don't know. If I still think about it, I think about people in hoodies, right, that are trying to hack. And yeah, I didn't really see myself being a hacker and having that hoodie on. But I did have an interest in it. So this program was perfect. It was for women that didn't have any experience in cybersecurity. So you really learned the foundations of cybersecurity, and eventually it just clicked. It connected. It sparked. So well, one of the sessions was at Cloud Life, is a Microsoft security partner, and now I'm working over there. So that's how how it can go.
That's a beautiful timeline, Justine. Now, Justine, you just were telling me that your family was like completely surprised with the fact that you were in sustainability, and then you made a complete jump into the data side. So, how was that jump like? Did you feel like it was an easy jump, or did you feel like there were jitters in between?
Yeah, so I have this strange behavior that I sometimes do make decisions that people cannot really understand, but I am already one step further. So I have a specific goal in mind, um, and that might be unlogical for others, but for me it is logical. So maybe I already knew like this is like a step in between before I can get to my goal. So yeah, okay. So I went into IT, did some basic understanding of working with data, databases, etc. And then I stepped out of it. But eventually now, also in my current job, I'm still happy that I have that foundation. So I came back to IT and found a spot that really fit. And it was a good start. Like you have to start somewhere. And I had an idea in mind. Well, it didn't
Mhm.
work out like 100% because the sector was maybe not really a fit. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I think that surprised people. Well, I was already that step like more in the future.
Yep.
I had my goal in mind. Yeah.
That's amazing, Justine. So that really gives me an idea like why that leap was so good and why you're doing so well in your career at the moment. Now spoiler alert for our listeners. There's a complete Aussie connection here. When I'm just gonna ask you this. So
Yeah.
Justine, I have just heard that you were part of an university solar challenge program. So if you would like to give me and our listeners a walkthrough of exactly what exactly this was, I would just like to know more on it.
Yeah. So in 2015, I participated in the Bridgestone World Solar Challenge, and it's a challenge in Australia, from Darwin to Adelaide, so from north to south, with solar cars, and it's built by students from all over the world. So there are several teams participating in it, and from the Netherlands are actually there were three teams and are still like three teams. It's every other year there's again a solar challenge. So yeah, I participated in that team during my studies. It consisted out of 19 people, and I was responsible myself for media, so also doing press releases, interviews,
Oh,
social
okay.
media. So it was more
Right.
like I was the person that needed to translate a really technical information to information that could be understood by the broader audience, right? So we had many partners investing their knowledge, investing money in the project. But of course, they want to understand, okay, but what are you actually doing? So that was my role back then. And it was really interesting to be in the team because from the start, you have nothing yet. So of course, you have the knowledge from the teams before you, but you start completely again, designing the solar car, producing it, testing it, transporting it to Australia, which is also like a big
All
challenge.
right. Huge
So, and
thing.
eventually racing with your solar car, and that only in 1 year. So it's like a pressure cooker for everyone that is in that team, myself included. I think I lost something like 10 years of my of my life in that project, but it was really interesting and really, yeah, you learn a lot about yourself, about teamwork, about the process of designing to production to testing to eventually racing. Team dynamics, it's like completely different if you're still designing with each other and then eventually doing the race and being a racing team. Like the dynamic of your team, it's totally different. So I do think that I've learned a lot during that year, and I still have that experience that I took from there into my current job, how I work with people, how to motivate people. So yeah, it was a really it was a lovely team and a project to be in. Yeah.
Amazing. So when you just got to know that, there is a travel to Australia, how was that feeling like? And how did you experience
It
the
was
country
so
on the map?
long, like 24 hours.
I relate to
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Well, so of course, like if you are in a team, that's the goal you're working towards, right? So you're doing all the work for a year, and then you're traveling with your team to Australia, being over there, like the landscape is totally different, and you prepared for that moment.
Yep.
So yeah, it's like really I can't explain. It's you have to experience it to understand how it is, and also like when you cross that finish line, that's yeah, it's an overwhelming feeling like that you've worked for so long and eventually you're there with your team, you reach the finish line and you accomplish something that not many others experience as well. So only
Exactly.
let's say 15 till 20 teams around the world, like from all over the world, from the Michigan team, from Japan, Tokyo. So it's a worldwide participants, competitors. So
Yep.
only a bunch of people know what you're actually experiencing.
All right. Now, you just told me that, there are a lot of people, who participated in that. So I wanted to understand, like, who is the winner out of all the teams? Like, people were across the world, right? So how many teams actually made it, to the top three? And, how did that go on?
So not every solar car reaches the finish. You also have like if something breaks because it's all self-built, right? So we do have some requirements
Hmm.
from the organization, but it could always happen that something breaks or whatever. So for our team, we eventually became second, and it was only 3 minutes between first and second. So 3 minutes, it is nothing in a race of 3,000 kilometers from north to south. So
Oh,
yeah, yeah. So that also did a bit hurt that we eventually
yeah.
became second instead of first, but it was such an accomplishment. And I have to say, I don't understand really why, because we don't have that much sun in the Netherlands. But first and second were Dutch teams, so we're doing really
Oh,
well in like developing and yeah, also innovating the cars year by year. So every year it's like the in the top teams, uh, yeah, the teams from the Netherlands are there as well. So that's interesting, I think.
that's pretty good to know. And, it's a very good trivia for me as well that, the two Dutch teams have made it to that. And That's very good. I believe, next, I mean, coming onwards, I think for every solar challenge, I think every Dutch team will get motivated that, our predecessors made it there. So I think we need to prove ourselves and go to the finish line. So
Yeah.
I think I
So, and
believe
also the Belgium team is also great. So it's really weird that those two small countries deliver such great
yeah,
solar cars. But yeah. So we love to innovate, I guess. And we are really
absolutely.
competitive as well.
Absolutely. And when we talk about Belgium, right? I mean, I totally understand even Belgium has that Dutch connect because Belgium is a country that has French and Dutch as
Yeah.
the majority of
Yeah,
populations,
Flemish.
right?
Yeah. So that's indeed, we can understand the Flemish people and the other way around. Yeah. Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant. That's good to know, Justine. Now, Justine, can you give me an idea or let's say a stint about, can you just talk about your stint as the, data security consultant and,
Yeah.
let's say a project manager again, for the cyber and data security, related work for your company, Cloud Life.
Yeah. So of course, I work at CloudLife, and as already mentioned, CloudLife is a Microsoft security partner, so it's solely focused on security,
Hmm.
cybersecurity, data security. So we have two teams focused on that. So actually, I started as a project manager, which makes sense since I have project management, operational position I had as well. So it made sense that I started in that position. Um, but I had this eagerness to also go into the technique as well. So quite quickly, we decided, okay, there's something in you, and we're going to make sure that you will be this a really nice data security consultant. So I've learned a lot, and I'm now fully focused on data security, be a consulting in that team. So yeah, I do like scans on how sensitive information flows within organizations. I do workshops to understand in organization, okay, what is sensitive data to you? Is it like social security numbers? But what do we have besides that? What is intellectual property you maybe want to uh, lay this layer on of to make sure that you don't have the data leaked, right?
Yep.
So I have like this all these aspects, and I still think that it's really nice that I have like this project manager in my pocket because I use it in my current day-to-day work. I still know how to make sure that the process of making sure you make some steps in the project that you can continue, right? So it helps in my current work. Yeah.
That's brilliant. Now you told me that, a lot of sensitive information, like data related information, like, security codes, or let's say, for example, the intellectual property gets leaked. So what are the steps that you take ensure that, that kind of issues never arise in the future? Like what are the, reformations from your end?
Yeah. So at first, with every company I step in, I start with the first phase, which is know your data. It sounds so easy, but many organizations don't actually know what the sensitive data is in their organization. So normally a project like this is initiated by IT, and are like really smart people in IT, right? We know.
Absolutely.
But people from IT cannot like really understand, okay, what is the HR department working with, or what is the social
Hmm.
workers, what are they working with, what kind of information. So you really have to make sure that you have like all these people involved and have these workshops with each other. Okay, what is sensitive information for us? So that is the first step. Take your time to understand what is the sensitive information in my organization, how are these processes in our organization as well. So understand the information flow. Do we see sensitive information flowing out through email? Where is it located? Is it in our personal drives, or is it on the shared drives? So really understand, okay, what is this picture, so-called, of where this information is located and how it is flowing. From there on, you can come up with, okay, what do we want to regulate, right? So do we want to have these rules set that I cannot send certain sensitive information anymore? For example, what you can do, and I'm talking about what you can do within Microsoft Purview, because that's where I work with. Purview is
Yeah.
like the solution of Microsoft, where you have all these different tools to protect your data and also retain and archive, etc. But then you can come up with rules, with policies. Okay, I want to make sure that if I send an email with, let's say, 5 social security numbers, that there's a block, because we don't want that. Our company policy is that we don't send emails with more than 5 social security numbers. So you do
Oh.
have these tools, but you need to
Hmm.
understand, but what is for us the points, what is the sensitive information, and what is the point that we cannot cross, because then we have data leakage. And it's a lot for many companies. So start small and make sure that you see it as a process developing continuously. Because it's not like a project that you start and after 3 months it's finished. No,
Yep. Yep.
you have to make sure that you see it as process and you keep developing it.
Absolutely. And when it comes to data, you have to be very careful because,
Yeah.
as a data science student, I myself understand that, being in the data side really, really takes a lot of effort and, a lot of things you have to get invested in and understand the workflow really well. So,
Yeah, and it's also really important to make sure that your users, your employees within your organization, understand why it is important to, for example, use labels after defining it.
hmm.
Because if they don't understand, why would they even do it? Of course, we can also do other labeling, but I'm not really a fan of that, because then your users will get stuck eventually and will call the service desk. They have to understand. But if you
Yeah.
explain it, why we do it with each other, why do we have this in place, these processes? Uh, Also because we want to make sure that you do not like by accident share information, because that's what happens most, sharing by accident, and then you have a data leakage. Make
Hmm.
sure
Hmm.
that you help your employees, um, and give them the tools so it won't happen to them. So we have this example in the Netherlands that a volunteer of the police by accident shared really sensitive information. The Netherlands, the people in it were all like, "Oh, what happened?" And it is already quite some time ago. And I felt so sorry for that volunteer, because it's mentally like really intense if you are the person that caused the data leak. That's horrible. So you really also have to
Hmm.
responsible as a company to help your people, and to ensure they
Hmm.
cannot leak that information, that there's this mechanism to help them.
Oh my God, that is a very dreadful thing. I mean, but I mean, what exactly, I mean, what made him to, leak the data? I mean, I'm really surprised by the fact. Like, how did he end up there?
Yeah, but it happens so quickly, right? For example, if I send an email to the wrong Peter, if I send it to Peter Long instead of Peter Short, I don't know, but I'm just coming up with something. But it happens, right? That you send an email to the wrong person and you thought, oh, I have to send to Peter quickly, quick. I'm just doing my job. I'm trying to do it as fast as possible.
Yeah,
And it could be as easy like that, that you send information that is not supposed to be at that person.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then we have an issue. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that kind of an issue has to be regulated, I think, by an application or something, some kind of a workflow should be added, when suppose you're saying, as you just mentioned me, that if you're sending an email to some other person by, let's say, Peter Long, and it ends up with, Peter S, and there he has all the information of the company, then some kind of a regulation, or let's say an AI mechanism should be acted upon at the email thread. I think that can save a lot of things.
Yeah. And also, what we can do is, like, if you use information protection within Purview, you have this item labeling. So if you have a word or an email itself and you label it, the item itself, then the item or the label is traveling with the document. So even if it's not in your own environment anymore, it's not in your own tenant, it still like has the protection on that file, even if it's like on another computer tenants, whatever. And that's
Awesome.
really
I think
interesting. It
about
really helps to make sure that data is protected and not only the environment anymore.
I think Microsoft Purview is a complete blessing in disguise for everyone, for every data related person who's part of that particular field. Now we'll go a little bit deeper into the Microsoft Purview, but not now. Now we're going to talk about your initiative.
Yeah.
So, Justine, on this note, I wanted to understand, I mean, how did you, come across, and like, how is that feeling like, to be the co-owner of your initiative, Tech Speakers, and what was the idea, or let's say, what was the genesis for the idea behind it?
Yeah, so indeed, what you said, I'm the co-founder. Together with Emma, I had this idea in mind that okay, there's so many tech events, and we always see males on the stage. Why is this the case? There are so many women that also have the knowledge, working in IT, working in medical technology, in constructions, and we don't see them on stage. So I've
Yep.
met Emma during also the solar team. So we had both like already the experience of being in this
All right.
technical environment, etc. And we were both like active on other already moderating events. And then we were drinking coffee with each other, and we felt like we should take this a step further. We can make this like really initiative, take it well a step bigger. So we joined forces and we set up Tech Speaker. So it's our company now, and yeah, we do events like from the Data Expo in the Netherlands,
Okay.
but also like more medical tech events. It always
All
has a
right.
relationship with tech. So tech is really broad, right? We can say IT is tech, we can say constructions is tech, medical
Mhm.
technology. There should be this link.
Yep. Yep.
And well, we have speakers, we have moderators, and it's so good to like help women to get on the stage. It's still like that what I see what is that women feel like okay, but what is it that I can tell? Why should I be on stage? And I'm like, you know that so much. You should be over there. So
Yeah.
yeah, we really have this passion to make sure, okay, we have great male, but also great female for tech events, and they should be represented both.
Awesome. So as they say, right, every good idea, starts over a cafe, when all the friends bond up for a coffee, and that's where the idea germinates from. So I think I mean, that's a case from your end as well,
Yeah,
Justine.
indeed. Yeah, yeah. Coffee is always a good idea.
Absolutely. I think that triggers the best of ideas, I would say. Yeah. So, Justine, when you just floated this idea across all the women speakers, that you knew in your close circles, or let's say people who you were affiliated with in the tech scene, what was the response from their end?
So that's really an interesting question because I've talked to quite some people and everyone was like, "Oh, I recognize this. This is a great idea. You will like fly off and go." But eventually, in the real world, it's not like that. You have to prove yourself and reach out to organizers to make sure that they know that you are there and you have people for them to get on the stage. So we really had to be proactive and reach out to organizers to make sure that eventually we also get on that stage instead of only talking about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is
yeah. But
absolutely
everyone
true.
was really enthusiastic about it. But there is this difference between talking about it and make sure that you also reach out to organizations like us.
Exactly. And when we talk, when you're just, telling me about the tech speakers, is it like, you interview just, one person or a group together? Like, what's your idea behind for that?
Yeah, so with Tech Speakers, we have many projects. My last project was at Data Expo. And what I did over there was that I had this podcast of Business Wise. It was fully on data and AI. So I got speakers, keynote speakers in the sessions, in the podcast, telling about their session they had on that expo. So that was great to have those conversations. So that was one project which is still like going on. I did 15 interviews or so, and they're still like being published.
Awesome.
But we also do other events, like if there's an event of a company that have like an innovation day, then we do the moderation on stage. So that could also be one of the projects we do. Or if there's like the product launch, then we also sometimes get invited to be there and to make sure that the audience is still like there with their it stays invested in the event. So it could be anything. Also, we deliver speakers. So if there's a certain event where people feel like, oh, we need someone that has experience in cybersecurity and can tell something about it to the audience. So it's really broad and it differs every time.
Amazing. That's good. Justine, after we, connected and, when we discussed about the idea of, that we need to collaborate for a podcast initiative, every now and then when I used to open my LinkedIn feed, I used to see a lot of things related to your tech speakers. And I was like, wow, that's a great initiative. And, it's going great guns and it's going really good.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So it's a passion project. So I love also
Absolutely.
telling about it. And yeah, it feels a little bit like my baby still. Yeah.
That's amazing. Justine, so I mean, do you have a plan of, taking your initiative global? Like, do you want to, conduct this initiative like across the world, like, in Germany, in the US? Like, is there any plan of that, that has
So
come
for
over?
now, we feel like there's still a lot to do in the Netherlands. But of course, if opportunities pop up, we will grab them and also make sure that we get more representation on the international stages. So yeah, always open to spot new opportunities, and if they come by, then I'll grab them for 100% sure. If it like aligns your goal and also your passion, then yeah, well, you have to take the chance, right?
Absolutely. You have to take the plunge.
Yeah, yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant, Justine. Now, Justine, can you, familiarize me and our listeners with your expertise of, let's say, the Microsoft Purview, which you were just talking about, and then, the data loss protection, and then the privacy risk management. So, I mean, how is your expertise and how do you rate them? I mean,
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
categorize all something like that.
So Purview is like a really big project, a product of Microsoft, and I think it's a good thing that more and more people get to know it and also know what solutions are in there. But it's a lot. So it's focused on information protection, which I call the data security part, but also data lifecycle management. So, okay, how long should emails stay in the mailbox and after that being deleted? Or
Hmm.
maybe we should keep
Right.
it at least for 7 years and then it should be removed. So there's rules and
Hmm.
regulations, right, on that of how long
Yeah,
should you keep your information and also how after how much time uh, must it be deleted. So that's also a part within that, and we have also privacy as well in there, and compliance a tool to help you understand, okay, am I actually compliant to all those rules and regulations I have to deal with? And there are many of them we have to deal with, and it's getting more and more and more. So it's nice to have a tool like that. So there are all these kind of solutions in there.
okay.
And what I think is really important is that organizations really try to do it step by step. So we also have like this awesome solution which is called insider risk management, and I love it because you can check like, okay, what is risky behavior of our users. And oh, if they perform this risky behavior, then they get points. And after they reach certain level amount of points, then there will be adaptive protection, and they will be like they can do less, so they can download anymore, for example, because there's risky behavior. So that might be that there's something off, and we want to make sure that they cannot perform all the actions they can normally do. That's
All right.
great if you have like that tool, but it's quite advanced. Start at the basics.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I see is that many organizations are still not there yet. So they're still at the start of data security, of data lifecycle management. Make sure that you first do that before you step into all those advanced tools, which are great. I understand. It's really nice to dive into all that technical stuff, right? It's fun to
Yeah,
do. And I
it
always
is.
see
It
the
is.
sparkle in the eyes of the technical guys. But start at the beginning. You have to make sure that your
Exactly.
foundation is there before
Yeah.
you dive into the next steps.
That is a right point said, Justine. Every time you need to, start from the basics, and once you know the basics, the advanced levels, they just become easy.
Yeah, yeah. And I understand it's less sexy, so to say, right? Yeah, you want to do the fun stuff. But yeah, you have
Absolutely.
to do your work first. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you just were, mentioning about a point where, that Microsoft Purview is a tool that is, very much responsible to, eliminate all these unwanted emails. Like if I have to go into the core level of it, how does that do that? What is the, excellence behind it?
So what is really nice is that even on specific sensitive information, you can set rules. So, for example, if you set this policy, which is based on, let's say again, social security numbers, then if it spots in an email, okay, there's social security numbers, it can flag it and do the data lifecycle management from there. So you have different levels, right? You can level it on an event, an email gets in, and then you have your rules, but also based on the content within the emails that are coming in or going out. So I think that's
Yep.
really strong of this product, and also it works together really well with, for example, data loss prevention. And sometimes I say data leakage prevention because it's then more clear to people what it actually does. It prevents
Yep.
that you leak data.
Yeah.
But it can also work like on the information type level, or on the workload level. So on SharePoint, on OneDrive, on Exchange. So I think that that's really nice that you'll have all these different levels from where you can take these actions.
That's brilliant. I think, when our listeners are going to hear about it, they're going to get a sigh of relief when they, hear about Microsoft Purview. And I'm pretty sure that they'll just go and Google, okay, what exactly this means. And probably the initiation will start, to, use Microsoft Purview on the whole now.
Yeah, yeah. And don't get overwhelmed if you go into that portal because there is a lot, I know. Focus
Yeah.
first on information protection. Data loss prevention is a nice one to focus on as well because it also work to get those two. And data lifecycle management. All the others are great. You can take a peek, but
Yeah.
don't like go into it that much because then you will get overwhelmed. And we all know that if you get overwhelmed, you will like drop it, right? And feel like, okay, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. So don't let it
It
happen to
just
you.
no, no, I don't think. I mean, you need to take everything step by step. And once you take that in a
Indeed.
step by step, I think it'll definitely help you out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It works like that. Yeah.
Awesome. That's a pretty good advice, Justine. Now, Justine, everyone has a an inspiration story to talk about. Now, Justine, when we talk about your inspiration, or let's say about your inspirational story, I just wanted to understand like what were the number of certifications that you have been awarded with, and what was your roadmap to become an MVP in the Netherlands? Like that's a huge achievement again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So to start with the MVP awards, I still feel so honored. And yeah, so MVP is stands for Microsoft Most Valuable Professional. and you get awarded because you get a nomination by someone else, another MVP, or it could be a Microsoft employee. And you have to tell, okay, what are the contributions I do to the community? And then from the program of the MVP program, it will be like, okay, you get the award or you don't fit into this program. So, of course, I knew that I did contributions. I love to share my knowledge and also to share on LinkedIn my knowledge, but also during events. So I knew like, okay, yeah, I can put those in the form as being contributions, but I don't know. I'm like just happy doing the stuff I do, like, right? I'm feeling enthusiastic about it. So let's see. And eventually in
Yeah.
July, I got an email that I was in the program and I was being awarded. So it
Wow.
felt like a total surprise to me. And others were like, oh no, it was so clear. And I was like, well, I am surprised because I just do what I like to do. And
Yeah.
also, it's like you have to, every year, you have to renew.
Mhm.
And people ask me, okay, how do you feel about that? And I'm always responding like, well, for me, it's an honor that I've been awarded for it once now. If I don't get awarded anymore, well, actually, in my day-to-day job and in my day-to-day what I do, there won't change anything. I'm still like doing what I love. I'm still sharing. I'm still trying to inspire others. So whether I am awarded or not, well, okay, it's nice and it's an honor to be awarded, but it's not like the main goal to have that,
Yeah.
and that's why I do all those contributions, right? So there's something like inside that really is eager to help others and to make sure that we work more responsible with data, and I love to share about that. So yeah, that's my story about my MVP award. And it's great. And I meet so many people and I love the community around it. So everyone is so willing to help each other. And if you run into something that you can reach out and ask, okay, do you have experience with this issue or with this product or whatever? And everyone is willing to help. So I love that. Yeah, and furthermore, with other certifications, yeah, I just like go into these certifications if I feel like this is interesting and good for my development. So yeah, I have this eagerness to develop myself continuously. And every time I check, okay, what does fit at the moment, or what is the next step I see for myself? Okay, if I want to go more into, let's say, data governance, then I have to take steps to understand that field more. Yeah, and if I need a certification for that, I will just go up for it and I will learn and get experience and get certificated. But it's always something inside me that feels like, okay, I want to learn this. So it's not that often that someone tells me like, Justine, you have to get that certification because otherwise, no, I'm always eager to learn more. And I think that helps also if you have the drive, right? If you need to
Yeah.
learn something, then it's nice if it comes from it without and not that's it's like an external thing.
It is. That's a very good set point, Justine. Now, Justine, in our listeners, there might be certain people who want to, start out in the Microsoft ecosystem. So, for someone who's very basic with that, what is that certification that you would like to, recommend to them?
It really depends on where do you want to land within the Microsoft environment because it's so big, right? You have the security part, but also power automation. It's so big. AI. And what is interesting, I think, to check is the 900 series. So I started with the SC 900, which is like the basics of cybersecurity, get familiar with all those concepts, and from there on you can like go into the other specializations. But I do know there's also, for example, an Azure Foundations. That's the AZ 900 series. So it's a good thing to know, to understand for yourself or think about, okay, what is a bit where I feel that like that spark I want to get into? Is it AI? Oh, then you have to get more to the AI certifications. Is it cybersecurity? Well, go to the SC series. If you want to
Oh,
do like more the foundations of Azure, then go into that field. But you have all these certifications, and they go more into deep depth, but it starts with the 900 mostly. Like that is the highest level, so to say, before you dive into the
oh,
specializations within that.
wow. That's a huge level that people have to, cover. But again, once they start doing it, they'll love it, and yeah, and they'll
Yeah.
definitely reach their goal.
Yeah. So don't get confused by starting at a 900. Well, there's also 400 and 100. It doesn't like count up. No, 900 is like the foundations level.
Hmm.
And from there on, there are like all these others that are also within that field. But it's not that you have to start with 100 and then go to 200 and 300. That there's no logical thinking it.
To
Just
be
check,
honest, the
okay, what is
chronology actually
foundation
confuses
about?
me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The chronology actually, confuses me. When we talk about 900, it's like, go all the way to
Yeah,
900, but
no,
it's
the
a bit further.
900 is the foundations one. So that is the high level understanding the concepts certification.
All right. That's interesting. I mean, that's a pretty interesting insight, Justine. Now, Justine, I mean, in your career, are there any interesting success stories and anecdotes that you would like to share in this session, which you have experienced in your entire journey?
Yeah, so good question. I think what is a good one, and I've learned it actually being a project manager. um, But it's a good thing to use the escalation mechanism. So, what I see is that many people are afraid to escalate if they run into an issue during a project. And they feel like, oh, but if I go to my manager or the leader or the person you're reporting to, doesn't matter who, but if I go to someone that I'm reporting to, then it's a failure. But it's not. Like this escalation mechanism is there to help you if you run into issues and you cannot continue within your project, that you can use this to make sure that you uh, can go on after that. So it's not a failure to use it. And even though it feels like that, it's not. It's a great mechanism. Make use of it. At first, I also was afraid, and it felt like, okay, I need to go to my manager because I cannot solve the issue myself. But it
Hmm.
sometimes helps if like another level is communicating to each other, and then it goes down again, and the people from there can continue with the project. Sometimes it's a
Hmm.
decision that needs to be made, which cannot be made on your level, right? That a level, one higher level should make a decision about. Do make sure that you send the information to the person you're reporting to, because if you say, yeah, I cannot continue my project, please help. Yeah, then you get like the manager feeling like, oh, what should I do with this? Can she solve it herself? But if you like get them informed, okay, this is the issue I'm running into. We have these options. I need this and this and that from you. Then the person itself can also understand, okay, I can help her to continue with the project by doing this with my counterpart.
All
Um,
right.
so I think that's a really good one to, yeah, not be afraid for escalation, but use the mechanism.
Awesome. That's very good, Justine. That actually, sums up the point for me. Now, Justine, I mean, circling back to the second question which I asked you about, the Solar Life Challenge, and you told me that in the year 2015, that you were into doing all these press releases and you're doing interviews. I mean, in 2015, did you ever realize that after 10 years that you're going to, start your own initiative and, do the podcasting and all of that? If had you seen, yourself in that thing, what would your immediate reaction be?
Yeah, well, I already back then I told people I have no clue what I will do eventually. I have no clue. I already knew like there's not like one clear career path for me. I'm doing what makes me enthusiastic, and eventually I end up where I am right now. And I think if you've told me 10 years ago, okay, you're in cybersecurity or data security, you're having your own company, you've been an own entrepreneur, yeah, I probably was like, okay, interesting. How are you going to do that? And do you know sure that you have
Yeah.
enough capability to do it? Well, and here I am. And yeah, of course, sometimes I'm also uncertain what I do and if I'm the right person for it. And then I'm like, okay, Justine, this is imposter syndrome. Fuck it and go on. It's scary, right? But do it anyway.
Absolutely. And had you seen yourself, let's say, there is some kind of a, let's say, a time machine kind of thing. I'm going very, into the sci-fi mode now. Had you seen, a time machine of yourself, and you saw that thing, you're doing podcasting, what would your immediate reaction be then? You're like, did I really make this? Will you get that reaction, seeing it?
No, I would probably be watching like, is that really me being over there? Yeah, but I love what I do. So even I feel like there's more that can get out and it will eventually get out. But in what way? We'll see. So probably also again in 10 years, it's like, oh wow, I didn't know that was in there. And I didn't know I could do that as well. But it's also interesting to be open for the future and let's see what the future will bring.
Exactly. I mean, the future always has good things in store. I mean, especially, when I started and when I was in my BTech, it was a very, very confusing thing for me as well. And I never thought I'm going to end up in IT, but here, and had I seen myself, I'm like, wow,
Yeah,
that's a pretty good thing. And when you feel like, when you want to achieve some things, you feel like, okay, it's a huge mountain to climb. But once you enjoy the process, I think there's nothing
indeed.
like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And it's also important sometimes to stop something. If you feel like, okay, this is not for me, that's also really a good experience to have because then you understand better, okay, this is it not. And I have to
Yeah,
go on. Um, but it's fine as well. Also that it's not failure, it's learning, it's
it's
developing.
learning. It's learning,
um,
taking a break, recouping. Yeah.
Indeed, and reflecting about, okay, but what actually happened? What do I feel? How did it go like this? Where do I see myself? What did I learn from myself? What's
Exactly.
also really interesting, I think, for myself, I was in IT before. Well, with
Mhm.
that, the sector didn't attract me. I'm back in the IT world, so to say, and now it really fits me. So there's so many like aspects that contribute to how do you feel, how do you thrive, right? So uh, don't get discouraged if sometimes it doesn't go as planned or as you had imagined yourself.
Exactly, Justine. That's a right point. So, Justine, before we actually, conclude our podcast session, let's take a lighter route. At this moment, I was completely, bombarding you with I mean, your journey in the IT industry, then I mean, the solar challenge that you had experienced in your university, then about your expertise in Microsoft Purview and, being the data security consultant. But this time,
Oh,
I'm not
we've
going to
been
go.
through so many topics, right?
Absolutely. And really, it's like in a quick time, it just happened and really, really covered so many insightful points. Now, when I'm just talking about the lighter route, it's going to be a rapid fire round, nothing technical, just your likes and interests.
Bring it on.
Awesome. So, Justine, if I would just, since you're based in Netherlands, I just wanted to understand, like, what is your favorite sport that, you like to watch or let's say play?
Well, I'm more the person doing sports myself.
Okay.
So I'm into running. I love to go to the gym and doing like these quick workouts, high intensity training. I used to also do rowing during my
Oh,
university. So there was
okay.
also competitive rowing. It was not during the Solar Challenge, by the way, because my full focus was on the
Yeah,
project
yeah.
during that year. But before that, I was in a competitive rowing, and I still love to watch rowing on the television. So Actually,
Okay.
last week there was this World Championship, and the Dutch teams were doing great, and I love to see
Oh,
that. But what I also like about that, like it only takes around 8 minutes from start to finish. So it's not like you have to sit down for 90 minutes or even longer. No, it's like quick and dirty. You know who is
hmm.
going to win. It ends, and then I can
Right.
go outside myself again because I like to be active myself. I don't
I
want to
think I
sit on
can
the
just
couch for too long.
absolutely. I think I can just say it's like a mini Formula One aquatic version. In Formula One, it's like about racing, and rowing is like, almost like a quick thing.
Yeah, yeah, and it's really explosive. And yeah, it's really nice also to watch because you see all like the explosion of energy going into it. Yeah, I still love rowing. I'm not doing it myself anymore because it takes quite some time. But it's nice to see other people like fully focused on their rowing careers.
Amazing. Now, if I would just like to ask you, like, what is that famous, or let's say, what is that Dutch word that you would like to, familiarize our listeners across the world with?
Dutch words. Oh wow. Yeah, well, so it's autumn season, right? So every country has like this word for comfy, cozy, and in the Netherlands it's gezelligheid.
Okay.
So it's
Oh,
like getting warm with family, having a good time, or with friends. But also for me, gezellig is when I sit at home, having a blanket around me, have like these scented candles, having my e-reader. So I just told everyone that I don't like to sit still, but with my e-reader and all this
okay, okay,
coziness around me, I
okay.
love it. Yeah. So then I can sit still for quite some time.
All right.
So that like at this moment I feel like, oh, we're getting into that season again, right? That you can get the energy a little bit more down. Yeah. So gezellig.
That's an interesting word. I think I need to learn that.
Yeah, and it's a difficult one because it's like the Dutch. It's
I think
it's
I
like
can
if
pronounce
you
that.
eat stones
Yeah,
or something. Yeah, it's in your
I think
throat.
I can
Yeah.
pronounce that. I
Yeah.
think I can pronounce that. It's Kazelak, right?
Yeah, gezelligheid. Yeah. Really
Just got
nice.
it.
You're doing well.
Awesome.
You can come to the Netherlands.
I would love to. I would love to visit Netherlands someday.
Cool.
That, that's amazing. Now, when we talk about the ebook reader, you just said that you like reading books in the ebook reader. What was the last book that you read?
So I do read a lot of cozy romance at the moment. So it's also because that season is starting. So quite often it's fiction I'm reading because I do it to, well, get the stress out of my system and having a good time myself to relax. Um, but it depends a little bit on what time of the year it is. Sometimes I have like this eagerness to learn and to have like these self-development
All
books,
right.
and then I'm like
Mm-hmm.
fully invested in those. But at this point in time, I'm like, okay, I've had like a full day of meetings and going to customers, doing workshops, and now it's time for myself and have
Me
like
time.
these
Yeah.
cozy reads. Yeah.
Awesome. That's a unique choice. Now, what was the last song that you have heard?
The last song, yeah, well, that's again, it's like the cozy season. I
Yeah.
have this Spotify playlist and it's called
All
something
right.
like Autumn Instrumental Music Vibes.
Oh, everything autumn
So
then.
I'm listening to that, and sometimes you hear also like the crackles of the fire of the fireplace. Yeah, I'm a
All
sucker
right.
for autumn season. It's
Nice.
like everyone is
Nice.
like, oh, and the Christmas will be coming soon. I'm not really into Christmas. Yeah, it's nice as well, but I'm more into like, oh, pumpkin and pumpkin spice, and yeah, you already
Yeah.
see it, right? I'm all getting pumped up over here. Yeah.
Absolutely. I know you have a lot of, let's say the zest for the autumn season, and I totally see that.
Yeah, oh, I love it. Yeah, so actually, it's a fun story, but I did
Okay.
this order online for pumpkin spice box, and I got like a kilo in. So I'm not sure yet what to do with a kilo of pumpkin spice. So
Okay.
I have to make a lot of recipes with pumpkin and pumpkin spice, etc.
Hmm.
But I was like, oh, pumpkin spice, I want to buy this and I want to do something with it. Put it in my smoothies, put it in my oats. I don't know, but I want it. Yeah, okay, so it's getting like hysteric right now, but yeah, okay, I'm really into this season. Yeah.
Nice, nice.
I
That's
will be
wonderful.
remembered to the girl that loves pumpkin spice, I guess, and that loves the autumn.
Looks like.
Yeah.
Interesting, interesting.
Yeah.
The funny part is, when in Australia, I mean, the Christmas time happens during the summer. We celebrate, People celebrate Christmas during the summertime when it's completely, like a sunshine around. And I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, that's a very
Yeah.
unique Christmas.
I do remember that from being in Australia. So that race back then was in October, and we had some time off after the race. And everyone was already getting in the Christmas vibes. And I was walking in Sydney and going to Bondi Beach. And I was like, it's so strange. It's already Christmas. Well, everyone is over here in bikinis, and it's such a strange experience if you are not used to that. If you are used to, okay, when it's Christmas, it's getting colder. I need to wear my raincoat, and yeah,
It's
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 really
poles
interesting.
opposite here. It's
Yeah,
poles
yeah.
opposite in Australia. That's good. Now, Justine, like, I mean, I just want, since I come from India, I'm pretty keen to understand this. Like, what is your favorite Indian dish that you like to try?
My favorite?
Indian dish.
Oh, my favorite Indian dish. Oh, yeah, well, we have this great restaurant in the city center. And yeah, it's really bad, but can never like uh, get to the name of the dish. But I
Okay.
always like if you have naan bread as well, and I think
Yeah.
it's palak paneer. I don't.
Palak
I
paneer. Yes.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
like that
That,
one a
that is that.
lot.
Okay.
Yeah, but I especially like the spiciness of the Indian
Okay.
food. So yeah,
Right.
that's if it's spicy, then I feel like okay, that's great.
Then that's actually true Indian food. If it is spicy and flavorful, then yes, that is
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. So give something spicy and flavorless to me, and I'm happy.
Awesome. That's pretty good. Suppose if anyone visits the Netherlands, what is the place that you would like to, recommend them?
Well, so I live in Utrecht. It's in the middle of the Netherlands. And if you ask people, like, okay, the Netherlands, and everyone thinks about Amsterdam, right? Amsterdam is the place to be. But I really like the city center of Utrecht as well. It's a bit smaller, but it's also really authentic. It's like it still has the canals. So I think it's worth a visit to go to Utrecht as well. And also Rotterdam is really nice because
Mhm.
it has this urban vibe. And I think it's the only city in the Netherlands that actually has this urban vibe. And lastly, which I also really like, is Deventer. My brother
Okay.
lives over there. It's a little bit more to the eastern part of the Netherlands,
All right.
but it has a little bit like the Dickens vibe. So from the books and the stories.
The Charles Dickens
Um,
ones, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that's also it's really nice, and you have these streets which are really like you feel like you're going back in the days. Yeah, so that's another vibe as well. So I think those three are really interesting to visit if you want to go beyond the Amsterdam experience.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. If I my connection with Netherlands happens with football because I'm a huge football fan, and you
Yeah,
have something called the Dutch Eredivisie, right? So I
yeah,
understand the teams. Let's say Ajax, PSV Eindhoven. So from there I get to know the names of the cities, and I'm like, okay, nice.
yeah, 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 yeah. Indeed, because we have like all over the Netherlands, we have like this great um, players. Indeed, yeah, yeah.
Amazing. That's wonderful, Justine. So, Justine, thank you so much, for taking time and, being part of my podcast initiative. It was really lovely conversing with you, especially talking about, your tech journey, how you have, become a Microsoft MVP in your country, Netherlands. And again, at the same time, your views on, the data security side, the cyber security side, and how important it is, to save the sensitive data. So that was really, really good. And the thing that, blew my mind was the University Solar Challenge, because that was such an innovative idea. And I think I feel such, initiatives need to come aboard. So that was really
Yeah, well,
wonderful.
thanks for having me. It was great to have the conversation to you, and hopefully, it will inspire others as well, right? To go where they feel that spark, and yeah, to contribute to something they feel like, yeah, that's where I want to contribute to. So thanks for having
Absolutely.
me and sharing my
Yeah.
story.
All right, all right. It was wonderful having you, Justine. All right, listeners. So, on this note, this is your host, Akhil Navluri, signing off. We would be back with another podcast episode with another eminent industry leader very soon. Till then, keep listening. Stay tuned. Goodbye. Thank you. And au revoir. Thank you.